Hello, hello. It's another wonderful Sunday, Memorial Day weekend Sunday. Thought it'd be a perfect time to play some We the Revolution. Let's just get right into it, shall we? Continue. Where do you want to continue from? Where I last left off. Okay. Hope everyone's having a good weekend. Whether you have a long weekend, short weekend, medium-sized weekend. In case you missed the last episode of We the Revolution, you can find it on my YouTube channel, Haunted Husband as well. It was the first case that ended in death. And we actually had to pull the rope on the guillotine, which is very, I don't want to say like, it didn't really mess with me, but it was still kind of tough to do at the same time. But before we pulled the rope, we had to give like a rousing speech to the crowd to put them on our side, and we didn't do very well at that. We didn't really rile the crowd that much. But the way this looks already, it looks like there's only two people in favor of death, so we might see another head roll today. Who knows? And I just realized I didn't set up my camera. Hmm. Do I want to take like the 2 minutes to do that, or do I just want to roll without it? Hmm. You want the cam? All right. Well, let me put up my overlay real quick. Tell me which one it is. Haha, there we go. Let me see if I can get this done quickly. Probably not. So I got it in place. There we go. I feel like it zoomed in a lot closer than it used to be. There we go. Feels a lot closer. Usually I think it's supposed to be like this far out. I don't know. We'll roll with it. How about that? You get to see most of my head. I'm going to not pretend I said that and just keep moving on. Poor papa. Maman. So I've given one death penalty, 3 prisons, and 1 acquittal. And the revolutionaries view me very, very lowly. I'm close to them probably killing me. But the thing is, like, I've made all the choices that I'm supposed to make, the way I'm supposed to make them, that I feel like. Alright, let's just jump into this, shall we? Okay, there's none of that for this. So basically it's going to be an open and shut deal, probably. So let's move that there. Okay. There we go. Speech for the prosecution of Antoine Quentin. He's guilty of counter-revolutionary. He's accused of counter-revolution, treason, fraud, advocating monarchy, and neglect of duty. Oi. Compatriots, Citizen Capet, previously known as King Louis XVI of France, must be punished for conspiring against the people of France. Oi. Louis Capet tried to defend his absolute authority by plotting against the National Constituent Assembly and the people of France. We all remember July of 1789. He gathered an army, 15 foreign regiments, and ordered them to surround Paris. Soldiers led by Baron de Benzaval were to capture deputies and shoot at citizens offending the reforms. And so they did. The Royal German Regiment drew first blood. After the plot failed, Louis Capet tried to flee the country with his family in a scheme with foreign monarchs abroad. Is that not the reason we took flight from Tuileries one night in June of 1791, using someone else's passport? Was he not heading to Montmartre, where his loyal armies were stationed, ready to take him to Austria? If it were not for Postmaster Duret, the scheme would have ended tragically for us. Louis Capet will never abandon the thought of suppressing the revolution by force. Before the events of 1792, he gave orders for the Swiss Guard stationed in the Tuileries to be doubled. He conducted a public muster in front of horrified citizens. The people had no choice. They had to act before Capet attacked. Citizens of Paris who tried to stop the madness were shot at, even after Capet's escape to the National Assembly. Evidence: an order issued by Marshal de Broglie to Baron de... Oy. I just hurt my face reading that. My lord, should any reason appear, shoot the rebels without hesitation, just as his majesty ordered. Have no mercy, for they shall have none for either. VF de Bourg. Louise Capet, I hereby open your trial. Answer the questions when asked. Capet is the name of one of my ancestors. My new name is Louis Augustus de Bourbon. That may have been your name before you raised your hand against the people you had sworn to defend. As a king, I have never done a thing against my people. I love them, I still do. Objection. There's evidence that Louis Capet's treason against the people of France. He should be tried as a foreign and an enemy, not a citizen of the Republic. Yeah, I know. You've explained this mechanic to me before. I know. Alright, let's get some questions. There's 10 questions. Holy hell. Alright, let's just dive into it, shall we? Where do we want to start? Well, he's definitely guilty of suppressing the revolution. He's definitely guilty of shooting citizens. I mean, surrounding the city of Paris, that's more of a method than a... And you only get 2 mistakes. Shouldn't a fake passport be more like evidence? I'm just going with what my gut tells me. I don't see a fake passport as a motive, but as a method. Suppressing the revolution is either a motive or a method. Technically, you'd be both right. 2, 4. No, I saw that. 2, 4, 5. I mean, no, sorry, 2, 4. Defending his authority is probably definitely a motive. $100. No issues, no stumbles, no problems. I got you. I got you. Where do we want to start? Where do we want to start? There's a witness who's delivered the passport, who helped suppress the revolution. Tell us one thing. When does a leader order a muster? Who gave orders? Was the accused planning to reclaim his... Let's start here. Was the accused planning to reclaim his authority in Paris and reestablish an absolute monarchy? Why would I do that? According to constitutional law, I was still the king. Then why did you raise the number of troops in the Tuileries? Fear for my family's life. It is not a mystery that the citizens of Paris were incited to seize the palace and capture us, especially as was Mr. Danton's goal. It is clear, then, that the Guard were organized against the citizens of Paris, many of whom did fall in the Tuileries. Against violence and disorder, Mr. Tinville, not against my people. Who gave the order to shoot the citizens gathered around the palace? Who gave the order to shoot citizens around the palace, and who issued the order to fire at citizens? Like, that's the... Tell us one thing. When does a leader order a muster? When there's a need to strengthen discipline and inspire courage. So you meant that you encouraged the Guard to attack Paris? No. There were many armed citizens around the palace already. I wanted to give my troops hope during the defense. I would like to emphasize the fact that my family were in grave danger. If I was in danger, the fault lay with you. It is not the first time you sent the troops to fight the citizens. Gentlemen, I look in vain for a judge here, for I only see accusers before me. Who gave the order to shoot the citizens gathered around the palace? I did. But it was not an order to attack. The Guard's duty was only to respond if the citizens attacked. Their duty was to protect my family. In that case, they should have ceased fire as soon as you escaped to the National Assembly with your family. It was chaos. I didn't have a chance to give such an order, but I did so immediately upon arriving to the Assembly. So the accused has innocent blood on his hands. Who issued the order to fire at citizens defending the National Constitutional Assembly? Either Marshal de Broglie or Baron de Bon. The responsible should be the one standing here, as such he was not authorized to issue blah blah. Really, not according to the document, it was signed by Marshal. Marshal de Bon went too far and lied to us all. I swear on my crown I did not issue that order. De Bon is a sworn monarchist and was given an army to suppress the revolution. Would he work on his own without Caba's blessing? People sometimes do stupid things. Did the accused strive to abolish the National Constituent Assembly? I would not convoke the Estates General for the first time in generations and then acknowledge the National Assembly to act against it and all the required reforms. Then why would you call on armed forces after National Assembly's transformation into the National Constituent Assembly? My ministers pressed me to ensure my people's safety. Now, that is a bold statement, considering how many of your people were killed during the unrest in July. That pains me greatly, but only the person responsible for that is Baron de... Objection. That's why I carried out Capet's orders. Who helped you suppress the revolution? Frederick William II, Francis II, Catherine II, or maybe it was your relative Charles IV? Just awaits them all, well. Nonsense, all of it. My desire is to take my family out of Paris, as I did not wish for them to suffer house arrest. We all know the European monarchs despise our ideals of freedom, equality, and brotherhood. Am I to understand that you tried to prepare a joint military intervention? I deny any such accusation. There is no evidence for such outrageous claims. I would never turn against my beloved France. Liar! He sells his own mother, never mind his country. Has the accused ever considered Paris and its citizens to be his enemies? Absolutely not. I ask that you explain the question. How can you deny it if you do not understand the question? Your army surrounded Paris. Is that not what you do to your enemies? My soldiers were there only to ensure public order while the National Assembly was in session. Our forces were already present in Paris. Was that not enough? So wait a minute, I'm not supposed to ask all the questions? What did the accused plan to do with the Constitute's deputies? Nothing. They told me that I joined on 27th June, granting immunity to its members, and I tended to respect that. And yet you ordered your soldiers to seize and imprison the deputies, and perhaps even execute them. Nonsense. There's no evidence of that. My enemies spread rumors to get rid of me. We don't need no evidence against a coward who runs from his own people. Who's responsible for the delivery of the passport of the man called Pinot? My butler. I ordered him to prepare all the formalities regarding travel to Montmedy. The City Hall did not receive any submissions from your butler. I don't know what to say. Monsieur the Judge, Louis' butler was seen at the Australian embassy. They surely took care of all the documents for the defectors. Monsieur Tilleville, that is mere hearsay. Who said such a thing? Bring him so that it can be repeated. There is no need. That is hard evidence, especially in the light of what the accused has told us. Let's call on the witness. Please introduce yourself. Jean Doret, postmaster of Sainte-Menehould, Minister de la Church. Did the accused, Louis Gabet, introduce himself to the witness with his full name? No, he didn't introduce himself at all. He only produced someone else's documents. So he tried to hide his identity. You could say so. I used the name from the documents after he showed them to me. He never objected. Then how did you learn of his true identity? By the image on the paper assassination? Assignation. Blah. Then a messenger from the General Lafayette confirmed my suspicions. I ran as fast as I could to Benares to inform the authorities. Was the accused acting like a defector? Was he nervous or in a hurry? No, the king, Capet, was in no hurry. He even found the time to jest. What about the Capets? That I do not know. Only the king would leave the carriage. Capet. Judging by his clothes, I thought he was merely a townsman. The accused like to comment on this testimony? I do not see anything wrong with traveling in modest, comfortable clothing. It is even advisable for practical reasons. It would be advisable during an escape, especially if the monarch were trying to sneak away. People are aggressive. Jury says prison. So acquittal here is definitely not the option. Monsieur the judge, the crowd in front of the building is enraged. There may be a massacre. Rumors spread about hidden evidence of Citizen Capet's treason. People have gone mad. What evidence? I will go to them. I would ask you to all stay in your seats until I return. This does not sound good.
People, what vexes you? Why are you so angry?
The king lied to us! That coward ran from us! He'll surely run from justice as well! We found proof of the king's treachery in his secret iron cabinet!
Let's see. Oh, this is terrible. I don't know what to do. Citizen Capet shall not escape justice. Oh my god, that's right. It's a strong argument, a perfect argument.
Louis Capet is just flesh and blood, a citizen just like you. He cannot escape the long arm of the law. Any treachery committed against France will be punished with death. We shall examine new evidence, and if the rumors turn out to be true, I assure you that I shall behead this traitor myself. I know that you might be angry, but you have chosen your representatives to protect you. Believe in me.
Better than the last time I gave a speech, that's for damn sure. It is true. Evidence of Capet's guilt has been found. Holy crap. Really? Would the defendant like to explain why he concealed his secure iron cabinet and the documents hidden within from the convention? I hid nothing from the convention. No one asked me about the existence of such things. You kept the correspondence well hidden under lock and key. It could only be retrieved with the assistance of a master locksmith. Any affluent Parisian has a lockable cabinet. I, for one, am keenly interested in the locksmithing. So, read that. That's good. Read that. That's fine. The deputies of the so-called National Assembly are to be carefully questioned, and if any of them should display common sense or cease to support the Assembly, award him with an extraordinary high allowance and forward him His Majesty's thanks. We trust with the God's grace and help, His Majesty will soon arrive within the imperial borders for us to grant His Majesty, as well as our beloved sister's safety, eventually take them steps necessary to reestablish the natural European order within the borders of France. His Imperial Majesty, the Holy Roman Emperor, King of Hungary, Bohemia, Croatia, Dalmatia, Slovenia, Galatia, Leopold II. Which one? Did I read that one already? Yes. Your Grace, soon we will become your Majesty's rescue. However, for the time being, I implore your Majesty to muster local troops that remain loyal. I shall issue a warning to your Majesty's subjects that any and all who dare raise a hand against your Majesty will suffer the desired consequences. My armies await my orders to curb the tide. Duke Charles William Ferdinand. Oh boy. 6 new questions. Well, letters from the Duke is evidence. Letter from the is evidence. Also evidence. Prussian Revolution is definitely counter-revolutionary. Your boy can't be stopped. He can't be stopped. I'm just too good. I better wrap this up quick, otherwise they're going to riot outside. You were aware of the plans of the Emperor and the Duke of Brunswick. Why did you not warn the National Assembly and the army? You need to speak up. It's not deemed the threat serious. That reeks of treason. Allow me to quote, "My armies await my orders. Does that not sound like a serious threat? Prince Charles is impetuous, but I never once thought he would dare attack France." Did the accused intend to lead the Emperor's forces to France? Certainly did not. In his letter, the Emperor was quite clear about his intentions to return order to France. I do not know the plans of the Emperor Leopold, but I do not know what I would never allow anyone to spill French blood. But you must admit that such an offer from an enemy government paints you in a bad light. Dear God, it's merely a personal correspondence from my brother-in-law. It's not personal when the letters exchanged are by our rulers and deal in the matters of national security. I'm just going to call it right here. This is getting dangerously high. One more question. Was the accused responsible for the attempts to bribe deputies of the Assembly in order to abolish it? I did not sign that document, sir. But it was found in a cachet belonging to the accused. It speaks of thanks from the king. My intention was to put the Minister Roland on trial for abusing his power. I got the document for that occasion. A trial that has not happened for 3 years now. A trial that needs to happen. Roland will confess to the guillotine. That is the fault of the Minister of Justice. I ordered him to carry out an investigation and punish the Minister of Internal Affairs. Sorry, bruh. Let it be a lesson to you folks. Oh, now I have to do this. Yes. Who does this thing about not warn the National Assembly? Who was corrupting politicians at Citizen? I can't remember. I don't remember reading anything about Honoré Gabriel or Honoré. So it has to be Jean Monnet. That's the only name I remember. I send sentencing a pet to death by guillotine. Take the convicted away. Long live the people. Down with the tyrant. The common folk love me. Like, I cannot be any more beloved by the common folk. Not have to pull the fucking rope up in.
Their excitement was stronger than the smell of the fresh wood the guillotine was made from. Do they know what's about to happen? Sheep that only now realize they used to have fangs and claws. One thought guides their clenched fists. To bow before the new, uncompromising idol with his shining steel crown. I too have felt their eyes on me, just like him. A silent assistant in this ritual of new faith. A random acolyte, scared, doubtful. Will not the old god seek vengeance for this treachery? He abandoned them all too easily. I was unable to understand their screams. I only tasted the stench of their sweaty bodies.
Ooh.
But I could hear one thing perfectly. Bring us the king.
Let's see if I can do this. Okay. What does oversensitive mean? Let's go aggression. Aggression, manipulation. Perfect, perfect. Aggression, manipulation. Well, it can't be any weak than humility, that's for sure. The guillotine would almost be a pardon. Such a hideous deed demands torture. Should we torture him? Will you just stand there and allow criminals to tell you what they want to do? You've gained power in France. Now spill the blood of those who oppose the Republic. Oh, sweet. They love me. I died as an innocent man. I forgive my enemies. No. No, you didn't. For the revolution. This one's for you, base guy. When people miss my streams, this is what happens to them. I must be dreaming. Is that the map from the Muggler's case? You stole evidence from the court case? I did not steal it, only found it a use for it. It will be more useful in your room than the dusty drawers of the court archives. After all, this is a map by Turgot, and should be treated with some respect. What a lovely explanation. Consider it a gift, not take it, and try not to talk so much. You should be more concerned about the events with the king. because this whole situation just seems peculiar. As your superior, I should be the one judging Louis' case. I fail to understand why Rob asked for your assistance. Are you jealous? Of course I'm jealous. It is an important moment in history, and people will be reading about it for decades to come. Yeah, I chopped his head off. What about it? It seems there will be more trouble. I have a feeling that someone is toying with my life, so an unknown force were pushing me into an utter chaos. Keep your eyes open. You came to the political world of the city from out of nowhere, and that means someone will have to step down to make room. Do you have to sound defeated? My husband is a renowned person now. We should be happy about it. It's easier to shoot someone in the spotlight. Very true. Come on, raise that up. Ooh. Yeah, my oldest son hates me so much. Youngest son loves me. Wife could take or leave me. Oldest son hates me. This is kind of like my real life. Youngest son loves me. Oldest son doesn't kind of like me. What do we want to do? I could use a little loose on the people's love. Nah, no one wants to deal with the grandfather. Screw that. I was thinking evening stroll. Oh, jeez. That really killed my influence on the people. Dang. Wife loves me. Son's over the moon with me. Didn't really raise my oldest son's opinion on me. Day 7, Liberté. See, now I know this. This was in the demo, so I know how this should go. The people shrugged the invisible burden off their backs. The street seemed more peaceful. Even the windows at the courthouse were soon replaced. Thanks for your bit of commentary. Oh, geez. This is not the trial I got in the demo. It's a different one. Dear Citizen Fidel, I am writing you to congratulate you on becoming part of a country's history. Psychopat's trial is on everyone's lips. I would also like to discuss the important topic of appointing the new commander-in-chief of the National Guard who will replace Citizen Burrell. It is now my honest belief that I am the best candidate. Should you give me your permission, I would like to pay you a visit this evening. Long live the Republic, Francois Henriot. Good to know. Where am I in the hierarchy still? Am I still at the bottom? Burrell, gone. We have Elliot and Roland ahead of us. There's Rob at the top chilling. I got good relationship. Yeah, my younger son loves me. Can't get enough. Gotta take care of these things. Anything in the notebook worth So that's 2 death penalties so far. Do you think they want to kill her too? Supporter of tyranny. I only got 2 people in the galley today, so that's not too bad. Please introduce yourself. Anne de Corf. Baroness Anne de Corf. Anne de Corf, you have been accused of conspiring to facilitate the escape of the Capets from France. Do you plead guilty? Surely, Judge, there has been a misunderstanding. I had nothing to do with that. The evidence speaks against the accused. That is impossible. Let me read the case. Sorry, I gotta jump the case there. Sorry, let me read this real quick. Nathan's been doing some good work. She's accused of treason and fraud. Uh-oh. Sneeze. Ooh, better. Anne is a widow who currently owns an enormous fortune that she inherited from her late husband, Baron de Clichy. cliche. It is a little bit cliche. Before the Revolution, she was one of the Marie Antoinette's trusted courtiers. After the events in 1789, she cut ties with the court. However, she recently became a frequent guest of the Tuileries, where the Capettes were being kept. She also took part in the Count de Fersen's scheme to facilitate the escape of the monarchs from the Tuileries. Following de Fersen's orders, de Korff supposedly bought a new carriage in her own name. The purchase of a Berline carriage for 6 passengers, sufficient to carry the Capettes from Paris, was made at Jean-Louis' workshop. The valet of the Baroness Gilbert testified that the carriage was delivered to the Count shortly before the escape. Okay. It's only known that de Fersen himself, dressed as a coachman, drove the carriage as far as Bondy. Interestingly enough, when the monarchs were stopped in Vannes, Marie Antoinette had a newly issued passport under the name of Anne de Korff, which she was using during the trip. The streets of Paris are humming with gossip. They say that Anne helped the Count not because of her sympathy towards the monarchs, but because of her affair they had in the past, at the early aristocrat's unquenchable desire. Evidence of receipt produced by Jean-Louis. Man. Okay, get it out of here. I'm good. Get it out. Nope, not ready for that. Dear Baroness, the custom Berline carriage you ordered is ready. Your instructions have been attentively followed to the letter. Please pay the astounding 70,000 francs through tomorrow. Okay, in faith, Jean-Louis. Okay, let's crack this nut. The defendant confessed to a crime. Was her act counter-revolutionary nature? According to the testimony, who was she using the Windows vehicle? Where is revolution? Okay. Let's have some questions. Wow, I can make one mistake. That's huge. That's clearly her personality. She's a 67-year-old widower. See, for the construction of the carriage, that is evidence. It is known that she's a trusted courier. There's no traps on this one, but that seems like a trap to me. I don't understand how the defendant's needs and urges factor into this case, but... Your boy can't be stopped. I got all the questions. Okay, I need to be more careful about this. I need to stop pissing off the people outside the court. Where do I want to start? Start here. How many carriages are in the defendant's coach house? If I remember correctly, 3. We can't remember the last time we ate meat. And how many carriages does she own? Then why would you order another carriage in Jean-Louis' workshop? Does a lonely widow really need 4 carriages? Because my wealth allowed it, Monsieur le Judge. Since when is it spending money on feminine prices a crime? It is when those serve as Count de Fersen's conspiracy. We know that he instructed you to buy it. Nonsense. I ordered it for my own trip to the Montemay. Then why would a lonely woman need a carriage for as many as 6 passengers? Because a lonely woman wants to travel with company. There's still some people I can invite. Or you could plan to help the royal family of exactly 6 people in their escape. I'm not the only person in the city who owns a Berline carriage of 6 people, Monsieur le Judge. But the owners are not plotting against the state. Perhaps not with the use of carriages. True, we're surrounded by serpents. What does the accused think about the monarchy? I don't know much about politics, but I support the revolution, if that is what you're asking, Monsieur le Judge. Is that why you left court? That is a completely different story, and not related to politics at all. Or was related to. I face some baseless accusations of small scandal involving me and a married general. Did the defendant, despite those circumstances, maintain a good relationship with Citizen Caput's wife, good enough to help her? I could only pray for her. At my age, one does not have enough extreme for conspiracies. Oh. Why would the accused visit Capets in the Tuileries? The visit was purely social. As an elderly person, I struggle with loneliness in Paris. That is the most strange considering that they accused several relationships with the royal court when the revolution began. I wish to see all the people I met in the Versailles before I die. Is that so wrong? Was it during the visit that you handed Marie Antoinette your passport? Absolutely not. There was a guard who would not look away even for a second. Those terrible people never leave her side. That poor, anguished woman. And yet, by some miracle, your passport still found her way to her. I had nothing to do with it. I don't think my family really has a horse in this race, so they don't care what happens. Have they confessed to their crime? Nope. Yep. I didn't find this. According to the testimony, who was using the widow's vehicle? Could you describe the carriage you ordered from me? Electric blue line painted green and yellow. Can't escape a carriage that exactly matches the description. Where is the carriage now? I swear I had nothing to do with it. They escaped Louis and his wife from the Tuileries. It's the question. I only did the Count de Fersen, but I swear on that scan. I think anyone will. What did the accused think was going to use it for? He said he was going to use it by the Swedish ambassador. Why should I have displeased the Count? Did she confess to a crime? No. Was her act counter-revolutionary nature? I believe so. Swedish ambassador was using her vehicle, and her passport was Marie Antoinette. I believe I got 3 out of those 4 correct. I mean, I hate to do it, but I'm going to have to freaking cut her head off, too. Man, I'm just lopping heads off left and right. I sent a citizen and Dacroft to be guilty and leave the condemned out. That's how all of Capet's followers will end up. Bravo. Oh, I got 4 out of 4. Oh, yeah. Man, if they line up all the king's helpers, like back to back to back, I'm going to be spending a lot of time chopping people's heads off. Maybe I can win the heart of the crowd. Crime with the Innovation Revolution. Oh boy. So that's not the right way. So let's go with... Those orders shall be suppressed with the brutal strength of ours. They're turning back now. Will you just stand there and allow criminals to tell you what to do? Citizens, we must return to work so we may build our France for our nation. I lost one reputation. Damn it. Why do you want to kill me? You do not have any evidence. I have all the evidence. Au revoir, Shoshana. Remember, stop missing my streams. That's what happens. I find you guilty, your head comes off. Like I deal with this guy, Francois Henrot. Your wife told me that I may seek the support of just people. I should look for them in your house. Yes, Citizen Henrot. My husband will be more than happy to endorse your candidacy for the post of Commander-in-Chief. Why does this feel like a faint reply? Please do not be angry at your wife. I am sure that she acted in good faith when she made those promises. How could anyone refuse to support such a respectable officer? I am certain that my husband will acknowledge your merits, just as I have. Undoubtedly. But how can I be sure when there are so many other candidates? Well, I respect the other candidates. They are decent people. However, I can offer you the most precious gift, loyalty. Working together, we can greatly benefit each other, and maybe Paris too. Our family has a high regard for sincerity and loyalty, doesn't it, my dear? Moreover, we respect each other's boundaries. At every turn. Yes, those ugly rumors about you being an addict should be put to an end. Know that I never forget those who have done me a favor. Words, 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 Citizen Henrot. I'm certain that no other candidate has asked for your endorsement. They do not think that you are worthy of their friendship, but I, Francois Henrot, am different, and so are my words. I'm sure that my husband has already noticed that. Thank you. Regardless of what the masses are yelling, Paris is only as strong as its ununited elites. I will not retract my wife's promise, but in the future, make sure you come to me first. But of course. Is there anything that brings me and my oldest son up? Does nothing to me. Makes my wife mad. I can deal with that. She's a little mad. Who cares? Is that yours? The Capitulation still has not lost its charm since the beginning of the revolution. A group of people were gathered in the Parisian streets surrounding something on the floor. Your prestigious position allowed you to make your way to the center of the mob, find a man's severed head. What had caught everyone's attention was the head's facial expression. It was grinning. It was so unusual for the crowd to stare, hypothesized, for no apparent reason. Hypnotized. Leave it be. Who cares? It's not your head.
Move this man!
Hey. Hey. I don't know how long they continued staring at the head, or how long it was smiling. Look at this. They're having a good time. They're posing with it. This guy's drawing it. This guy's giving them, like, direction. Me, just like, eh. Give me some more favor.
A Paris of a new era. Weak, vulnerable to attacks. Waiting for someone to reach for power.
Mm-hmm.
Waiting for someone who, once again, will take control of its soul.
Mm-hmm.
The pawns are now in play.
Mm-hmm. Recent days have proven that Paris can win, that France can win. We managed to overcome our past, divesting our last remaining tyrant of his power. Now it's time to rebuild, to create symbols that inspire future generations. That's why during a gathering of the conventional Several enterprising citizens proposed the construction of a statue to commemorate the revolutionary victory over injustice. You were given the honor of supervising the construction. There was no better candidate than one you've... Blah, blah, blah. Come on. I gotta build a statue. Let's do it. Sections of pairs. Each section can be controlled by you, by an enemy, or be neutral. Each section you take over provides you with additional influence points. The chance of a mission success is higher in your territory. Enemy sections. Enemy agents can take over your sections. Okay. Lock sections. To unlock these sections, you have to scout up first. Gotcha. Fever. Gotcha. Send agents on missions, manage unruly trials, or fight influence over a city. Click an agent to choose an action. Who's good at fighting, gaining reputation, and managing unruly crowds. Diplomats. Takes over section managers. Okay. What you got? What kind of statue do I want? I like that. Each button lets you perform a different kind of action. Take over the ones that support your playstyle. Neat. Cool. Act 1, Day 8, Liberté.
A bloody beginning. A violent prologue announced by a flowing red curtain.
Very descriptive.
The wrath of strangers made me sick to my stomach. Feet stirred dark puddles. The air tasted like iron. Their heads, someone cried. Anger hidden in the shadows. Thousands of cries from a single throat. Here was a beast with hundreds of claws and teeth. A kicked, abused, and physically wounded soul. Their heads. What a cold and urgent order. The beast's eyes showed a long disguised bitterness. Yesterday's envy. It has waited too long to show mercy now. Too long covering its ears while others laughed at its inadequacies and feebleness. The beast's bark was filled with 1,000 smiles of those who worship this bloody morning. The
Man,
day when their enemies will perish.
That dog's missing a leg. That kind of sucks.
Their brothers.
During one of the regular disputes at the Cafe Provo, the brazen saint just suggests that all judges are corporate relics. Can I send somebody to smash his head in? Alright, ladies and gentlemen, that's going to do it for We the Revolution today. I'm going to take a short break. I'm going to switch over the games, and I'll be right back. And if you're watching this on YouTube, follow me on Twitch, Haunted Husband. Follow me on Twitter, Haunted_Husband. Bye. Be right back.